Hello, everybody. My name is Drew, and today we're going to talk about custom fields. And so, custom fields matter because they are critical to how your data is structured in the CRM, and they directly impact importing, automations, and reporting. And as you're setting up your account, you'll definitely want to give this some attention to detail and make sure that you get it right to save you some rework later. Now, of course, not every account needs custom fields. Our system has a ton of standard fields that come right out of the box. And so I'll also help you to see what your standard fields are so you can figure out if a custom field is necessary to begin with. But the punchline is um, the standard fields are basically the stuff that you'd see on somebody's business card, and then the custom fields go beyond that. So there are two ways. Let me just move this camera. Okay. There are two ways that you can get to your custom fields. Actually, really three. So if you're on this Get Started page, you'll see that there's a quick link to your custom fields right there in that box. But beyond that, you're able to get to your custom fields by clicking on the gear icon for settings in the bottom left of the navigation. And then from there, you'll click in that sidebar, you'll click on Customize under Account. Also, in the CRM section of the navigation, when you click on that icon, in the bottom of the sidebar, you'll see a Customize option that also will take you to where your custom fields are. So we're going to click on this, and in this on this page it says Customize your CRM setup. You'll see a fields card that says Contact, Account, Opportunity, and Tasks. This lets you work with the fields that come in the system. So your contact, account, and opportunity custom fields can all be configured from here. But in this case, we're going to be just focusing on contacts, but account and opportunity fields operate in the same way. So we're going to click on contact. Now, first of all, you'll see on this page there are two options for custom fields, which is what is selected by default, and standard fields as well, like basically like these two tabs. And so when you click on standard fields, this will show you a list of all of the standard fields that come in the system for contacts, since that's what we're looking at. And you can't create new standard fields, but you can reorder them because they're drag and drop. And then also, you'll see that there's a pencil icon to edit them. So in this case, you can mark them as required, unique, you can hide them. We're going to cover, when we go through the custom fields, we're going to cover some of these options. So I'm not going to go into details right now. But the most common things that people are going to do is maybe rename them. They might hide them, and they also might change the create card that these are on. And again, I'm going to cover that in more details in a minute. So I just got to move this. There we go. So let's go over to custom fields. So to create a new custom field, you hit that Create Custom Field button. And this gives you the different field types that can be created. Not to be mistaken for like the actual custom field itself, like an industry field, because you don't see that as an option here, because this lets you determine like how that field works, whether it's a text field, whether it's a numbers, so on and so forth. So let's just really quickly go over these. Currency fields are for currency, like dollar amounts. Now, note that those are going to be like really strict, so you need to make sure that these are going to be numbers structured in the way that currency typically is. Checkbox, so that's just what it sounds like, a little yes/no checkbox. Date, pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be a day on the calendar. Drop down. Actually, I'm going to cover drop downs and pick lists at the same time because they're very related, and these are also some of the most common fields that people use. So these are the field types that have like a select bunch of variables that are preset that you configure that can be selected by the user. So drop downs are a single select, and then pick lists are multi-select. And in our example, I'm going to make a drop-down field, or actually in one of the examples, I'm going to be making a drop-down field, so that'll give you a really good visual for that. Numbers, it just has to be a digit. Percent, self-explanatory. Now, text and text area, these are also very commonly used custom fields. So text and text area, very related, except text is going to be like a sort of single row of text that can go into it, and text area is for like multiple lines of text. So text is the most versatile field type. It'll accept anything that you throw at it, basically. And so text fields are really good for scenarios where you can't control the data structure. Like if you're parsing, and if you're going to be getting leads and you're going to be parsing the leads, and you need to be able to accept whatever data structure that lead source is giving you for that field, text is going to be the go-to field for that type. But the limitation to having it be unstructured is that can limit your ability to accurately get reports on it, because if there's some variety between like you get two different ways of saying the same thing, basically, like NYC versus New York City, that kind of thing, that's going to just be something worth keeping in mind, but it might be a necessary evil in some cases. And then text area, like notes, comments, things like that, text area is great for that. And then link, self-explanatory, it's going to be a URL, and it'll be clickable on the contact record when you are using it. All right, so let's create an example field. So we're going to start with a text field. And this is going to be actually kind of like that scenario that I laid out, where maybe this would be a field that you're getting that's going to be filled with parsed data from leads that you're receiving. So I'm going to say like a lead source is going to be the name. That's going to be like, it's going to show like a lead source on the contact record, and then you're going to have values that can be added to this. Going through this, we're going to see required as an option. Now, required is an option that I encourage people to refrain from using unless they really, really have a good reason to. The reason for that is when a field is required, you literally can't create a contact without a value being in there. And so, you're like, you're going to, if you don't have something you can put in there, you're not going to be able to create a contact. You're not going to be able to import contacts that don't have data that goes in there. So especially if you're a solo user, there's really no reason to force your own hand to never be able to create a contact that doesn't have something in that field. It's typically going to be good for teams where you really want to force the hand of your team. But even in that case, you might want to wait until there is a problem and then fix it with this, rather than just assuming there's going to be a problem. And then unique, this is also a powerful option. unique fields are going to be fields where there can't be two contacts with the same value in it. So there's only a few cases where people commonly use this, like it might be for an account number or something that's basically going to be a unique identifier for that contact. Um, Examples of unique fields in our system for the standard fields would be email and mobile phone number. And that's because in most cases there's not going to be two contacts with the same email or mobile phone number. This is also really useful for importing because it can behave just like email, where you can make sure that there aren't duplicates across contacts with a unique field. Categories. We're going to see what this looks like on contact records, but it's best visualized rather than described here, but basically lets you group custom fields together. Really useful for contacts that, or for users that have lots of custom fields. And we have a separate help article that talks about this. So if you're interested in learning more, you can just learn more there. Create card. This is also best illustrated rather than described. And so I'll be showing you what the create cards look like. But these are, the long and the short of it is if you put a field in the basic create card, it'll be more prominent when you're creating contacts. And then map to, what this will do is it'll map fields to, like in this case, if we're doing contacts, it'll map them to opportunities or accounts. And so this is really useful if you want whatever information is collected here to also go to the opportunities or accounts that this contact is associated with. This is a really powerful thing. And there does have to be, well, first of all, you can only create this setting when you are first creating the custom field. So you can't edit it to map later. And also there has to not be any existing information in that opportunity or account field for the data here to map over there. But in this example, like for a lead source, that would certainly be something that you would want to map to an opportunity. And then also, it might also be helpful for accounts as well. So I'll be mapping these. When in doubt, basically, if this is information that you think would be helpful to see on opportunities and accounts, you'll probably be best just mapping them. Okay, so we're going to create this text field, and then I'm going to quickly create a dropdown as well. And so we're going to see here that for this type of, custom field, it's going to be a little bit different because we have to define the options for this field. So we're going to make an industry field. Required is an option here, like for the text field. And then also you can add like numbers through 1 through 5, 1 through 10 really quickly if that's something that you're going to be needing for this particular field. But in this case, you can either add an option like hospitality and hit the plus button, or you can paste options in. So as you can see right here, if you have a CSV with the options or a chat GPT where you've asked it for options, you can simply paste in all of them rather than having to create them one by one, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hit paste option. I'm going to select, you won't see this, like this is on a different screen, but I've got a chat GPT window that's open, pasting in a bunch of different industry options. It doesn't even matter that there is a space between these options. I paste them in, hit add options, and there we go. We're able to just mass update the options for this industry field. And I'm going to give this the create card of basic so that I can show you what that looks like. And I'm not going to worry about map 2. So we're going to hit save. And there we go. We have made 2 custom fields just like that. And so let's take a look at what they look like in practice. So first of all, I'm going to show you what the create cards look like in practice. So we're going to hit the plus add item and create a contact. And so you'll see, first of all, when we're creating a contact, you have your basic fields at the very top. Now, in this demo account, I have a whole bunch of custom fields that are elevated to this basic field card. So you'll see that they're really highlighted right here. If you're in a new account or in one where you haven't used this, you'll see many fewer fields right up here in this basic field card. And the idea for this is these are going to be the custom fields that are going to be elevated that you're probably going to want to be using every single time or most of the time that you're creating a contact. So here is our industry field with the options that we just configured. And then at the very bottom here, you'll see that custom field drop down for the other custom fields. And so these are going to be good for the custom fields that are that you still want to track, but maybe they're a little bit less mission critical, especially when you're creating a contact. So let's go to a contact and just take a look at some of the things that we're configuring here. And so under the details section, you're going to see a lot of the standard fields. And then we've got our custom fields section right here that organizes things very nicely. And you'll see those custom field categories in action right here. So we've got our core fields, but that's basically just like the default category for custom fields that are created. You can change that if you want to. And then we've got our other sections right here. Like in this case, we've got a sign up form, we've got a CQ. And so this just lets you, if you are using lots of different custom fields, maybe especially you can see in this example, sign up form. We've got maybe custom fields that are very particular to a sign up form that we are sending people. And maybe it's helpful then to keep those custom fields segregated so that it's just easy to digest this information. All right. Yeah, and then I think just like one last thing that I just want to reiterate is that custom fields do need to be, or it's ideal to create these before you do any kind of like major import, especially where you're going to be importing data that is going to be using some of like the stuff that you would be tracking in these custom fields. And also, it's just good to take a zoomed out, big picture look at what these data structures are that you're going to be looking to create. And so basically measure twice, cut once, you'll thank yourself later. But yeah, I think that just about does it. Reach out to us if we can help. Thank you so much.